If it
Okay.
doesn't say, go with that.
Okay.
And it is, it's around 27 minutes, which makes sense. It should be less time, although you might disagree in the real world, but if everyone could work in harmony, it should be less time when people work together. They call that synergy, as you probably have heard in the
Yeah.
workplace.
All right. Just leave it at that. For the long ones, you want me to separate it into, is that what you want me to do?
It's sometimes good to just make that screen like half width or 3/4 width, so they're a little more readable. So that's, text going all the way across, and but it's up to, I'll handle whatever you send over. Go. Upload. See if that uploaded there. Okay, sorry. So what I meant,
I messed that up.
yeah, that's okay. V is the wind speed. V is the wind speed. Find an expression factor form for the difference of power for the wind speed V1 and V2. Oh, V cubed. Okay, so yeah, sorry. In this case, just take pictures of the whole screen. That will be
Okay.
that will be sufficient. All right. So what somewhere they're saying it's 1300 V cubed. I'm sorry, V2 cubed minus 1300 V1 cubed, like that. Somewhere we're supposed to, oh, sorry, is it V2? That's one of the issues. V2 minus, okay, so it's the other way. Yeah, V2 minus V1. All right. So you can factor 1300 out, and that's why all of these have 1300 out in front. So that doesn't help, but that's the next. And then what we're doing here is what's called difference of cubes. That's something you would have learned in a prior course, but I'll cover it here for you. So difference of cubes has a formula here, but it's a cubed minus b cubed. I'll have to write it down here. It becomes a minus b. Okay, so your a is v2, so it's v2 minus v1, like that. Bring the 1300 down. So that gets you down to the C and D. And then it's a squared plus ab plus b squared, like that. So that's v2 squared plus v2 times v1 plus v1 squared. So really it's all about identifying what's a and what's b in these equations, so you can use the identity there of this. So the answer is letter D. There it is. Got that. Always a delay here. The internet is slow. And, see if we get that uploaded. Here we go. All right. Okay, determine the discriminant of the quadratic equation. Okay, this is not too bad.
Gotta make it equal to 0, right?
Yeah, you have to put in what's called standard form, which is by setting it equal to 0, which means adding 9 to both
And
sides. You got,
okay.
and then identifying your A, B, and C.
So A
Yeah.
is gonna equal 4, B is -4, C is 9. And the discriminant is B squared minus 4AC, correct?
You got it. Yep.
B squared minus 4AC. We plug in these values. So I got B squared, which is -4 squared minus 4 times A is 4 times C is 9. I can't do this in my head. Let me put it in the calculator. -4 times 4 times -128. And then a negative number is, if I remember, is 2 unequal imaginary solutions.
Yeah.
I just have a
Correct.
little cheat sheet.
Yep.
Here, that's
That's good to have.
all right. So I got -128 for the discriminant and 2 unequal imaginary solutions. Well, looks like we have a little long one. All right.
All right. Now there it is. All right. Get that uploaded here.
I think this one you have to solve for X and then plug that into the other equation.
There's a variety of ways to solve systems. If they specify the method and they're checking, they want to see that you did it with that method, that's the, you got to do it that way. But
Yeah, I
if
think you have
they,
to solve for the
so
first variable and then substitute into the second one.
It's actually the nice thing here is they give you options. They actually say you can do elimination, addition, or subtraction. It really you were saying, okay, I'm going to solve for x. If you solve for x, you get a fraction here, which is okay. I don't know that I would solve for x. I would actually do you can tell me if you don't like. So I would multiply by 3 here, and you get 6x equals 24 plus 15y. And that's what I would put in for 6x. So it's kind of an odd thing to do. You can actually solve for multiples of a variable. That's a
Oh,
technique that you teach
nice.
that I teach in standardized test prep, but works here. So if you're okay, we can do it that way.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we can. So it ends up being 24 plus 15y. That's for 6x plus the 2y equals 4. All right. Subtract 20 from both sides. Boy, unfortunately, we are not going to get a nice answer. So you divide by 17. Y equals minus 16 over 17. Darn. It does say that it's fractions, so I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. So now that you get the y, you have to put it in one equation or the other. We'll go to the top equation there. 2x equals 8 plus 5. Instead of the y, it's minus 16 over 17, like that. Oof. This is bad here. So 2x equals 8 over 1 minus 80 over 17. And then you want to make a common denominator here of 17, which you got to multiply 8 times 17. So yeah, that's just not great, but that's what it is. And then from here, you add on the right side, so you get 56 over 17, 2x. And then normally you divide by 2, but because you have a fraction here, it's better to actually multiply by the reciprocal. Like this. And so x equals 28 over 17. It is common to actually have them have the same denominator in these types
Okay.
of problems. So it says to write your answers in ordered pair, 28 over 17, comma, minus 16 over 17. Sorry for all the scrolling. I am going to solve this using another tool here to make sure that this is in fact correct, because and it's always good to check your answer
Right.
before submitting if you can. So let me do that. 8. And so if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm using matrices to solve this. And come on. No one does these by hand. So I did make a mistake, or I entered this wrong. 2 minus 5, 8, 6, 2, 4. Yeah, so I made some sort of a mistake here, which is good that I checked it
Checked it.
here. 6x, 24, 15y, 15y, 7, 17y. Oh, what? So there's the mistake. I don't know why I put 20. Well, I can tell you why. I've given you the answer. When you subtract 24, you get minus 20. And some, just like in other aspects, you're like sometimes you just know something doesn't seem right, which is why I thought to check this. You just sometimes get a feeling that it's not correct. And so unfortunately, it does change everything here, and I apologize. I know this is
Fine.
horrible. The student have to rewrite all this, but it's not the end of the world here. That's 100. So it ends up being 36. I'm sorry, it ends up being 100 there, which ends up being 36, which ends up being 18 over 17, which, and there's no partial credit. Like you got to either get it right, fully right, or fully wrong. You're either fully right or fully wrong. But that is the correct answer there. So that's letter A. I'm gonna check that radio button.
is.
Oh. I got graphs. That's always good. Plane cruising at altitude 2.7 kilometers descends that its altitude increases the rate of 160 meters per minute. Graph from okay. So there's a lot going on here. Let me snip it in. On the graphs, I mean, if you've ever been in a plane, you know what it means to descend. I hope
Right.
you know
Yeah,
that means
it's
you're
going
going
down.
down. So it's either graph B or D.
D.
You know, and
Okay.
we'll get the right one in a moment. But you know, there's you know, that's just hopefully that's clear. Now to write the equation here, they're doing a couple things that I think are real challenging here. So they start at 2.7 kilometers, but what we don't know is, oh, I'm saying the altitude is in meters. So it's actually starting at 2,700 meters, 0,2700. All right, so the equation for altitude age. So typically you need 2 points, but they give you the slope here. They tell you the slope is minus 160.
Mhm.
That's what decreases, that's the negative, and then they're giving you the actual rate of change here. All right, so the equation is, you know, you can do the whole mx plus b, but it's 2,700 minus 160, and now we need variables. So it's in minutes, and then the height is reducing as a function of the minute there. So this is the answer to part. Now we could do the whole like mx plus b thing, but when they give you the intercept and when they tell you the rate, it's just better to go right to writing the equation without trying to overthink it.
Right. H is 2,700 minus 160 m.
Now, in terms of the graph here, like I said, it's either B or D. They're kind of helping because they're showing you one starts exactly at 2,600 and one starts a little bit below 2,800, and it has to start at 2,700. So it must
B.
be
B.
that one there, yeah.
All right, that was the last one.
All right, we do have some time remaining. Is there some other stuff you'd like to work on or the things here?
I'm actually probably gonna go over these notes because especially that one with the last one that we did, the addition by subtraction elimination one.
Sure,
That one is hard. I mean, I know what I need to do. It's just such a long problem.
it is, it
So
is. But keep in mind, you probably won't do it. Like they'll have you do one by hand and then the rest you do
yeah,
software or graphing or something like.
yeah. But I actually have the software that can give me different values for that type of question. So I'm just gonna go ahead and practice on that because that one I'm not too great at. I think everything else, yeah, the sine and cosine, that stuff is pretty easy. Yeah, I'll just go through this stuff on my own, but yeah, that's all I really need right now.
All right, sure. Is there anything else we can work on today?
Well, no, I think we're good.
All right.